Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today I wanted to have a discussion about how Mercury has been done very well as a character, how over time he has been written in a very well and interesting way, and I really wanted to go into it between the past and the present, and how he's a great example for other characters in the future on how they should be written. So sit back, relax, I hope you all enjoy. Let's go ahead and get started. So when we first saw Mercury, Mercury was at the very end of Volume 1 after the credits with Cinder and Emerald. And at that time being, we didn't know anything about his character, it had not been explored, we just knew that he was working with Cinder, and that's about it. Of course, getting into Volume 2, within the first scene, we actually start to learn a bit more about his character, and the good thing is that while he may be someone that works with Cinder, the plus side is they don't just simply focus on Cinder, they give Emerald and Mercury their own time to have moments, and to actually be able to shine as characters. And that's something that they should be doing, which is very good. Now, Volumes 4 and 5 didn't treat Mercury very well, and I'm going to get into that in just a little bit, but in Volumes 2 and 3, Mercury did pretty well, especially within Volume 3. So now we are actually in Volume 6, and we get a little more out of Mercury's character, which is something that I really appreciate myself. Now, when you go back to Volume 2 and you look at Mercury's character when we actually start to learn about who he is, when he hangs out with Emerald, he is actually more of a jokative kind of person, and he seems to be carefree, but he does try to make efforts to annoy her, which seems like a brother-sister relationship between the two of them. Aside from the carefree personality he does present with Emerald, he does seem to derive from personal enjoyment of seeing others in pain. So it shows that Mercury has a bit of a sociopathic personality that we've actually seen come out of him. And that also kind of goes back to the whole way of how he talked about killing Tucson back in Volume 2, is that he was very nonchalant about it. Now, you could say that goes back to his father's training of training him to be an assassin. That could be one big thing. And the brutality that he went through because of the abuse that his father put him through. And since his father wasn't really a father to him, more or less he was just training him to be an assassin and also beating him during his trainings, this could create a lack of empathy for others. But does that mean he has a complete and total lack of empathy? No, and I'm going to get into that in just a moment. But looking at what we did get from Volumes 2 and 3, he had a interesting start for a personality, and I do like that. And not only was he an interesting character to watch, someone that had witty comebacks, I mean, I guess you could say he has a silver tongue. I'm terrible. But he also is very capable of himself in combat. Mercury really shows that he has a very level-headed nature when it comes to combat, as well as showing that he takes his fights seriously. And with the first fight that we saw, which was with Pyrrha, Mercury started out by testing Pyrrha, seeing how strong that she was. Then once gauging the strength of her power, that's when he finally starts to strike, showing that Mercury himself, aside from him outside of battle sometimes just being carefree, it shows that he's very strategic and takes his time to actually think out what he's going to do next. And so this, with the writing perspective, shows the difference between his casual personality whenever he's outside of combat and then whenever he actually is within combat, showing the experience that he has for the battlefield. And this later carries on to the fight that he had alongside Emerald, fighting against Team Coffee's Coco and Yatsuhashi. So we do actually see that, yet again, he actually uses the terrain to his advantage and strategically finds a way to eliminate Yatsuhashi, showing that Mercury himself can very easily take on second-year students, showing that his experience is actually very high. So you go from a Year 1 student like Pyrrha to characters that are very strong like Year 2s, and then you see the fight between Mercury and Yang, one that had been hyped up for a while, and I have to really say that this fight was actually good in itself, with, at the very end, the whole twist of Emerald using her semblance to really try to frame Yang as the bad guy. Ultimately, Mercury also shows that he's good to sticking to plans. But, now, what this all has to do with the good writing perspective is that they showed off Mercury very well, and they made him prove to be a very good character through interest. So they build up interest on Mercury to start. And then, when we see the backstory in beginning of the end, this was good because we see that Cinder was looking for someone of Marcus Black's capabilities. with his style and assassinations. And then he turns out to be dead to discover that Mercury killed his own father. And so then, once Mercury had killed his own father, whenever they asked for Marcus Black, he says, "You're looking at him." Which I really enjoyed that line, but not only this, it kind of gives you an idea that there is something going on within Mercury's life. That why would he kill his own father unless there were issues that were really present at the time being? So, not only this, but he joined Cinder and Emerald because, one, he felt that it was right for him to do so, but secondly, not only did he feel like it was just the thing to do, he had nowhere else to go. So, realistically, Mercury had nothing else better to do. And so then this made him join Cinder's group. Now, the next thing that you have to look at here is that this left it open to what exactly happened between Mercury and his father. This is something that continues to provide interest to the character and a bit of mystery, since you didn't exactly know what had happened between Mercury and his father. Now, we did actually know back at that present time why Mercury did what he did, because the song I'm the One really explains what it was, about how Mercury's father was an abusive individual. He was the one who put Mercury through just nothing but hate, and Mercury lived in his own personal hell. That's the way he saw it. As it states within the song, that was born in a nightmare, a murderer's son, and the hate and the beatings defiled by a father. So at the time, we did actually know why Mercury eventually killed his own father, because his father was abusive, and we learned that through the song I'm the One, which then later on, we actually learned this through Volume 6, because I'm the One is a song that really tells you the backstory, or at least a bit of it, about Emerald and Mercury, and I've talked about this before. But the big thing is that once they had done that, it had just left the question out there as to will Mercury and Emerald both get more of their own screen time. Well, Emerald did get more screen time after Volume 3. Mercury didn't get so much of good treatment like some other characters in Volume 5, for example. But I like how this is later explored within Volume 6, Chapter 9, because we do actually get to learn that Mercury's father did train him. But the training was nothing more than beatings. That's what it basically became. That Mercury's own father stole his semblance, and that's why we've never seen Mercury's semblance. This has been something that had been questioned for years upon time, that what is Mercury's semblance? People question that, and now we know that he had it stolen by his father's own semblance, that his father could steal semblances, and promised Mercury that once he actually was able to be strong enough, he would give his own semblance back to him, and how he told Mercury that it was nothing more than him being weak, and that it was a crutch for him to have a semblance. And so, since Mercury killed his own father and never got his semblance back, he trained to make up for the lack of a semblance. And his father created a disability for Mercury at that point. He was the one person that doesn't have a semblance now. And when you think about this, him training to make up for what he lost, to become strong, this was actually very good. This was exceptional. While he's had a good character up to this point, he's had some great moments. Now they were really diving into how he really just has nothing but pain in his life, and that's all that he knows. And that Mercury is comfortable with it, and that he doesn't want to leave the only thing that he does still know and understand. And this is really great writing on the part of Mercury, and a lot of antagonists in RWBY haven't had this much flushing out for their characters very much. As a matter of fact, there are still several characters that really need to be worked on, like Mercury here. Giving him the ambitions that they did, that was great. They really need to explore other characters. And the one big problem I did have with this was Tyrion had to be Captain Obvious and literally just tell us exactly what Mercury told us. I mean, yeah, while it does benefit Tyrion in the fact that he is good at reading others around him, I mean, that's cool and all, but that really didn't need to happen. But, oh well, I mean, at least we did get something out of Mercury. I mean, Tyrion's still a character we still need to learn more about. So, points to you, Mercury, as to where Tyrion, you still need more screen time, as well as some of the other antagonists, because they still need their own moments. The Hazel moment in Volume 5 was predictable, but it's understandable, and it was very rushed. It's something that could have been worked on a bit better, and while Mercury's is definitely a vast improvement, really going into it and exploring that a bit more. That is something that I really appreciate that they actually did with Mercury's character here, and kind of done it a little bit with Emerald in the same episode. Now, if only they can start working on the next big two that have been here for a while. And with the team up here, there's potential in Cinder and Neo being a big focus in the next volume. And I really hope that they do actually try to work on these characters and their backstories and where they came from. If they can do this good of a job with Mercury, they can do this good of a job with every other character. And let's hope that they do. Credit is given where credit is due. And with Mercury, there's definitely credit given. But anyways, let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this informative or useful. Well, anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.